Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Samantha and I am a disabled neurodivergent woman. I have autism, ADHD, a rare memory disorder, and global aphantasia, which means that I don't experience any of the senses in my mind. And I'm suspecting this video will probably be pretty short. I just kind of wanted to give a little mini update. I'm extremely, really tired today, feeling just very sensory overwhelm and burnout. Yesterday I overscheduled. I'm working on learning my capabilities as an autistic person. You can kind of check out my playlist on my autistic journey, and part of that is dealing with regression of skills. And after during an autistic burnout, which can be a long process, and I realized now that there can be ebbs and flows. Like, it's not like, oh, if I have a good day, that means that I'm out of the burnout, because a couple days later, I'm just back where I was. So when I was hearing other people talk about their autistic burnout lasting months, I was like, oh, surely not me. But I got my diagnosis last October and it is April now, and I am definitely still in burnout and kind of even just mentally dealing with that. Like, it was something I just didn't even want to acknowledge, because the person that I know myself to be is just go, go, go. And to even slow down enough to acknowledge that I can't keep up the same pace that I used to before my diagnosis, it's really been very hard for me to come to terms with. But just the way that things kind of scheduled out yesterday, I overbooked, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, I have time to do all these things, so it'll be fine. So I had therapy in the morning, which is at home, it's telehealth, but anybody who's in therapy knows that it's a lot of mental work, you know? Like, I really enjoy my therapy sessions most of the time, and I get a lot out of them, but it's still a lot of mental work. Like, sometimes I can just be left feeling just drained afterwards. Some days, like an hour after therapy, I'm like feeling really like, ooh, that was a lot, and then I'm fine the rest of the afternoon. And some days, depending on, if I cried a lot during therapy or whatnot, it can be the rest of the day I'm just kind of down. But so yesterday I had therapy in the morning, and then I had my biannual, is that twice a year? Whatever it is. When you go to the dentist twice a year, I had my cleaning, and I already had to reschedule that once, so I didn't really want to have to reschedule it. Anybody, autistic or not, can kind of probably empathize with the sensory overload that the dentist is, between all of the sensory, like, feelings going on in your mouth and having to keep your mouth open, and the small talk and the lights and the sounds, and like whether or not they're doing a sound to me or in the next room somebody else getting a tooth drilling, because our dentist office is pretty open with just like partitions between. I always I'm really tense. Yesterday I remembered to bring a fidget, which was very helpful. And I focused on trying to just breathe and try to remember, like, when I feel myself tense up, which I don't always acknowledge right away, I try to make myself relax. But it was really hard. But I got through it. It's fine. No cavities, yay. So had that, basically came home, had just a few minutes, and then I had to leave to go to pre-op, because next Wednesday I am having a foot surgery that's going to have me off my foot with no pressure on my foot for 3 weeks, and then 2 more weeks with light pressure, like still in a boot kind of thing. So basically, essentially off my foot for 5 weeks. So I'm trying to prepare for that. The idea of surgery is extremely overwhelming, and I had a lot of anxiety before the appointment, during the appointment, after the appointment yesterday. And then I had to take my kids to their taekwondo class last night, and so I did that, which is really loud. Right now I have to go in to the building and sit with them, because they are also autistic, And they are also dealing with their own burnout. And so they just need me in there with them, supporting them. You know, as a mom, you just have to kind of push through and do it. And my husband had meetings, so he couldn't take them to class last night. So it was just a really long, stressful day. And then today I'm just wiped. I have no energy for anything. I barely got anything done. My whole body is just tired. I'm trying to remember to drink water, but it feels like a demand. So I have pathological demand avoidance PDA profile of autism. And I think because I'm an overwhelm and overstimulation, it's like I look at the water glass and it's like I know I need to drink it. I know it'd make me feel better. But the thought of drinking it actually makes me feel sick. And I am drinking it, so don't worry about me. I am drinking the water, I'm sipping on it. But I'm so dysregulated right now that just like the thought of just drinking water is not, it's a PDA thing. Like, I got a video on that where it kind of explains PDA a little bit more. Also, even food today. Like, I am a foodie. I love food, but I'm so dysregulated today that it's like I'm having a hard time eating. I actually called my sister on the phone and I was talking to her while I was eating, so that helped me not focus on the texture of the food or anything, and so I was able to get a healthy luncheon. That's a tip for any autistic person who is struggling with food is, you know, neurotypical people will say, do not eat and read a book, or do not eat and watch TV because you need to be mindful when you're eating. But for autistic people who are struggling with sensory issues, the nutrition is more important. Okay, I had to pause because I just got a call from the vet, because that's the other thing going on. My dog, Milo, our service dog in training for my son, has been throwing up a lot the last couple of days, so I had to call into the vet, so get to take him to the vet in a little bit. What was I saying? Oh, neurotypical people. And yeah, so sometimes when you're having sensory issues and nutrition is more important, you know, just make your plate of the food that you know you need to eat, and then watch a TV show, call a friend if they don't mind listening to you eat while you're on the phone with them, you know, read a book. These kinds of things can be helpful when you're just in this like stuck. And this is very new for me because I was talking to my therapist yesterday, yesterday. God, I'm telling you, it feels like it's so long ago. That part of the regression, for the first time, I'm having these weird food things that I've never experienced in my life. And it's not medication related, because I started an ADHD medicine, and one of the symptoms of ADHD medicine sometimes is a loss of appetite. But I was only on that medicine for like a few days when I had a reaction. So I have not been on any kind of ADHD medicines now for about a month. So it's not a leftover from that. It's just another form of the regression, just coping with things. And I actually talked about it in TikTok. And basically, when you are undiagnosed autistic and you're a child, and your tolerance for sensory things is like a tiny little window over here, you know, for instance, like, oh, this is too spicy, or I'm too cold, or this is too tickly, you know, a tag on your clothes. And the people in your life are like, no, it's fine. You're fine. It does that. You're wrong. You know, it should be over here. Like, it's not too tickly. And so you slowly mold yourself to societal's expectations, because you just get gaslit into believing that, well, there's something wrong with me. I need to just deal with it and put up with this. And so even though your tolerance of comfort is over here, and you slowly, over the course of your life, it's getting wider and wider, but it's really still here. but your mask is pushing you, and that is causing things chemically to happen in your brain. You are pumping cortisols, your adrenals are going. I don't know all the science. I'm not a medical person, but it's not a good thing. Then you reach burnout because of all of this brain stuff that's happening to keep you out of your window of tolerance. And then you have a burnout. And when you have burnout, all of a sudden your body crashes and it feels like your regression, but you're just finding your window of tolerance again. You're finding these are the things that my body actually can and wants to and is willing to tolerate. And finding that feels like you're going backwards. And it's scary and it's frustrating and it's sad and it's a lonely experience. So yeah, so that's all the stuff that is going on with me. I'm getting ready for this foot surgery. It's next Wednesday. I probably will push another video out between now and then because having these videos has just been super helpful for my mental health. Having the support of the community and y'all's comments and knowing that other people are experiencing this and that there are people out there who are just as confused as I am. And when you hear me talking about it and you don't feel so alone, knowing that I'm making a difference, it's just really been helping me keep going. So I really appreciate it. So, okay, hold on. Yeah, so after the surgery, I don't know how I'm going to be feeling. I don't know if I'll be able to, when I'll be able to make another video and edit. And I don't know how many days I'll be just kind of out of it. They're talking about the pain is going to be pretty intense from what the doctor was saying. So I'm just trying to prepare for that and not worry about it. And I will be here. We'll try to put out at least a little short video to let y'all know I'm okay. But like I said, before the surgery, which is next Wednesday, I'll probably put out another video between now and then. Anyway, I just want to say thank you all so much. And until the next one, guys. Bye.